Now, in retrospect, I might have suspected that something was going on in the bedrooms of our bedroom community. I thought it was gin and tonics, really, and maybe a little sex. I suspected that my sisters were probably whisperizing, tantalizing things behind closed doors and under the cover of Joni Mitchell albums. But all I heard was Ladies of the Canyon, really, no juicy details. You know, perhaps my sisters weren't that forthcoming because we all had the same unenlightened education in this area. My mother handed us the book, okay, the book, which focused on the nuts and bolts of the reproductive system, which is what we call sex in our house, the reproductive system. And after that, that was followed by the movie, which we all saw in 5th grade. And that emphasized hygiene and, you know, how to secure the sanitary napkin belt, which was that ancient precursor to the fanny pack. Remember that? So, though the complete contents of the book and the movie are foggy in my memory, I definitely don't remember the suggestion like, hey, when you sleep with someone, be sure to tell as many people as possible, okay? That wasn't in my book, but apparently it was in someone else's book. I can remember vividly the day I saw the movie and I had a conversation with my mother. I approached her, of course, and I said, Mom, we saw a movie today. She's like, oh, do you have any questions? No. Okay then, let's go watch Merv Griffin. That's a verbatim conversation. It's the one and only conversation I ever had with my mother about sex, and that's pretty much all I needed. I could figure out the rest from Judy Blume and that copy of The Happy Hooker I found under my sister's bed. My friend Kiki, very helpful. She was 3 years older than me and much more informed. Kiki's mother was a Francophile, so I think you know what that means. So she really had a superior grasp of all things sex-related. And Kiki was the one who explained exactly what Mrs. Powell's Retriever Whiskey was doing to the Whitmore's poodle Daisy. Woo, that was quite a day. Oh, it took me years to get over that revelation. And I couldn't really translate it into human terms until my sister Sheila took me to see Coming Home, which was a wildly inappropriate movie for a 12-year-old. So, thank you, Sheila. All right, by the time I hit junior high and high school, I just gravitated towards friends with the same limited information and experience. You know, the girls with the good grades who played field hockey and did jazz and tap. Okay, listening to Prince's Dirty Mind was the naughtiest thing we ever did. We couldn't actually get dates, so there really wasn't an opportunity to, quote, explore our sexuality, as people say now. You know, back in the day, those kind of conversations took place face-to-face between teenagers, so talking about the sex we weren't having was just kind of pathetic. We couldn't really fake it as easily as kids today behind online personalities and virtual dates, so we didn't even try. Sure, we liked boys, and occasionally they liked us, but not enough to stop any of our other interests, frankly, so let's move on. It was much more fun recreating go-go videos in our bedroom. We were pleasantly in a bubble, not prodded by pop culture to grow up too soon. So fast forward 25 years later, here I am. I'm a mother with 2 kids and a husband. And along the way, I seem to have internalized the idea that sex is part of a healthy and loving relationship, but it is not a proper topic at a cocktail party. But that does not seem to be the case amongst my peers. Take a look around, you see the belly rings and the tattoos on grown women, and it's clear my generation is not taking aging very well. I think the older this crowd gets, the more they yak about sex. I'm 50 and I'm having the best orgasms of my life, I heard a woman at the hair salon say in a stage whisper to her stylist. Now, I'm no medical expert, but I don't think that revealing this sort of intelligence to a guy named Damon in a yellow silk shirt actually stops the aging process. And it probably grosses Damon out. I have no doubt that the woman in the highlight foils thought that it might. If I can talk about it, then I can still do it. And if I can still do it, then I can still breathe. And intellectually, I know that I should applaud any woman who has the cojones to make that kind of statement, but it skews me out, okay? It skews me out. And here is the crux of my dilemma. Very happy for her orgasms, or just prefer not to hear about them. Since the early revelations of Kathy Lee, the genre of let's talk about sex confessionals has just blown wide open. Everybody wants to share their hot private lives. Now we have to hear about the sex lives of tweens, right? But not my kids, right? As if the notion that tweens have a sex life is perfectly normal. All right, add in Jack LaLanne's Daily Dose of Nookie to the list of things I do not want to discuss. And if that's not uncomfortable enough, Sexual dysfunction is just as popular a topic as sexual function. Oh my gosh, I defy you to consume any media over a given hour and not hear the words vaginal dryness at least once. Okay, I know it's a serious medical condition, but isn't that what doctors are for? Do we really need the anchors of the local news tackling that subject? Now, I host a radio show 6 days a week with ample opportunity to pull a Kathy Lee. In fact, we had a meeting last week with our boss in New York, and what did he say, Sheila?
Talk about sex.
Talk about sex, more sex, okay? And sex automatically gets everyone's attention as opposed to, say, new prescription drug legislation, all right? And on the radio, no one can see that gravity has taken a toll on your tush, which is good for both the anonymity and the gross out factor. But you know what? I resist, frankly. My husband nearly left me when I mentioned on air that he was red-green colorblind, okay? Can you imagine if he heard me going on and on about his... Well, never mind. All right. You know what, frankly, I'm at the point where I'm just grateful. I am grateful to have a husband with a nice head of hair. 2 healthy kids, a house, and a job that I love. I'm grateful for bag salads, for Spanx, for the resurgence of candlelight for home use. You know what? I'm grateful that every once in a while my husband will put on Roxy music and the years will fall away. I lost my place. All right. And what happens after that is nobody's beeswax. But let's just say I'm grateful for that too. All right. Growing up, I often heard the expression, discretion is the better part of valor. Remember that? My mother said it every day. When my brothers did something. You know, discretion is the better part of valor. Well, I say discretion is the better part of sex. Doesn't keeping it a little bit more secret make it a little bit better, particularly at this stage of life? We don't have to take our attitudes back to the dark ages, but you know what? I wouldn't mind if we turned off the lights occasionally. All right. Yeah. Oh no, now I see neighbors. I'm really glad.
Thanks for listening to the essay. If you want to write a comment, great, or send us an email at satellitesisters.com. If you want to find out more about our show, satellitesisters.com. Thanks.